Welcome to this call. My name is Dale Franklin, and this is Mondays with Dale. It got that name several months ago, and it just kind of stuck. Why do we do this call? This call is, I'm a firm believer in the fact that network marketing is a tough business. There's no doubt about it. And it's tough emotionally because, as you're building, you're going to get a lot of people that are going to be negative. They're going to give you, they're not interested, or, oh, they've heard this is a pyramid scheme and all this crazy stuff that if they really knew what we did, they would understand it's nothing like that. So we need communication, we need camaraderie, we need to have a support group. And so the reason I put this together is so that everybody knows every week there's a place you can come for training, for updates, for just an overall the information you need so you can stay connected with as many people in this industry as possible. And that's what I try to bring here. We in the network marketing space, we're all one big family. And in MDC, again, we are a family. And as long as we take care of each other, if we help each other grow, the beautiful thing about network marketing is the more people you help, the better off you are. And even though some people in this group may not be connected with other people in this group, if we all help the business grow, if we all help My Daily Choice become successful, it helps all of us, whether we're connected or not. But again, this is a business where you need that constant support, because there's going to be days when you're going to be a little down about how the days went. The one consensus that every great network marketer has, when they spoke on stage, when they've made a big rank, they all have one thing in common. They all say, without exception, that they almost quit a dozen times, and thank God they didn't. I mean, that's the one thing that they all have in common. So yes, you're going to have some down days. You're going to have some days when things don't go the way you want them to, but you're going to also have some great days. The trick is not to let the bad days bring you down too far emotionally, and don't let the good days bring you too high, because you're too high, the next day might be a drop, and you don't want that. So having said all that, that's, again, just this can be an emotional roller coaster. You want to be prepared for it. So we want to be a family type atmosphere. We want to keep people up to date and informed. And basically, the most important thing is constant communication. So on that level, first thing I'd like to do is give everybody on here who hasn't got my name, my phone number or anything, a way to connect with me. Of course, my name is Dale Franklin. My phone number is the +1 802-343-9075. That's 1-802-343-9075. Now, with that phone number, you can call me on your phone, you can call me on WhatsApp, you can call me on Telegram, Viber. There's a lot of different ways you can connect with me. So again, I want you to be able to reach out to me if you need me. And the other thing I want you to be able to do is to connect with me on Facebook. So my Facebook address is facebook.com/DaleFranklin.378. That's DaleFranklin.378. So if you request friend request me there, I'll certainly add you to my group, and that way you can message me on that way. See what I'm trying to do here? I'm trying to give you every avenue possible for you to reach out to me, so I can answer any questions for you, or point you in the right direction so you can get the answer. As a teacher, I've always been a believer in not just giving somebody the answer, but show them where they can find the answer. So if they need to ask a similar question later on, they'll know where to go. So that's the way I teach. Another thing I want to take a couple of seconds here to show you is share my screen. This is my website that Barb, who's on here, Barb DeZettis, made for me. It's DaleFranklin.net. Now, why do I show you this? I don't show you this just for my ego. She did a great job, and she made a logo out of one of my pictures. So I never thought I'd have a caricature logo, but it looks great. This is a place where you can come and you can learn about the business, We have an opportunity blog. We have an area where it says, "Who is Dale?" You can click on that to get to know a little bit more about me if you want to. There's always places to look for more information throughout here. There's some here on CoinZoom and AkashX. But the most important thing I think is connections. Connections is where you go to basically be totally connected, guys, in this industry, in our company. You can subscribe right here and be on my email list. So as we start doing newsletters and things like that, you'll be able to receive them. You can connect with me on Telegram right here. And if you're not already on Telegram, you can go over here and click the application, go in, join Telegram, and then join me. You can subscribe to my Telegram channel right here. You can do the same thing with WhatsApp. Connect on WhatsApp right here. You can subscribe to my YouTube, which I'm going to show you a little bit more about in just a minute. You can friend me on Facebook. You can join some of the Facebook groups. You know, the Win Network is everybody from Chris Robinson on down. We also have the Win Testimonials page, which you guys should be using all the time. When people ask you, hey, does this particular product help on headaches or help on arthritis or help on pain or whatever they're asking, you can go to that Win Testimonial page, find other people who've experienced benefits from in whatever question they're asking. And so they can hear from live people that are showing their emotion. You know, if somebody was in constant pain and now they're not, they're going to be emotional when they talk about why our products help them. So again, so important. It's a great sales tool. It's not only a great sales tool, but from our own standpoint, when we're getting started and we maybe don't have the belief that we should have, this is the ability to go in and hear from live people, and for us ourselves to hear about how well our products work, and then to turn those testimonials around and use them to people that we know that might have that ailment or that symptom. And then we have Team We. Team We is Chris Bailey's team out of Washington, D.C. Now, Chris lives in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. That was one of his dreams, and he was able to achieve it by joining this business. But he lives in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. He's building a team down there, but he has a huge team in the Virginia, Maryland, Washington, D.C. area. So you can click on any of these. You can be in those groups. You can chat back and forth. You can ask questions. It's just a fantastic place to go and learn. And we're always adding new groups to this, so you have a place to reach out. You can attend Zoom meetings and hear all the Zoom meetings that come up each day. There's my Mondays with Dale with the link and the password. You know, like tomorrow on Tuesday, we have Chris Bailey going to be doing an opportunity presentation at 1 p.m. U.S. Eastern Standard Time, which is, I believe, 9 o'clock in Kenya, 8 o'clock in South Africa. So there it is, and with the links, with the passwords, everything you need from that. We have some of the stuff that goes on in the United States. Of course, it's later in the evenings for us, so it would mean it'd be very early in the morning for you guys. But again, if you want to attend, you're more than welcome to. There's again opportunity here on Thursday, same time at 8 p.m. Kenya time. We're looking at another. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong one. Sorry, 9 o'clock Kenya time for the Chris Bailey's opportunity presentation. So basically, if you want to keep it simple, you've got my training on Mondays, which I hope you see value in. You have Chris doing an opportunity presentation on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And occasionally we have usually the first Saturday of every month, we have a super Saturday where we do an hour and a half worth of training with 4 or 5 trainers. Moves along fast paced. It's really, really, really informative. A lot of people love it. It's changed a lot of lives because people think differently after they've been on one of these calls. So again, if you're just trying to say, okay, I don't want to spend all my time on calls. I want to be building my team. Well, if you're asking me what to do, go to the training with me on Mondays. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, bring your people those opportunity presentations so they can see what it's all about. Let Chris do most of the hard work for you. And then one Saturday every month, go to the super Saturdays and get additional training. Anything else you do above and beyond that would be gravy, but those to me would be the ones you certainly want to stick with. So I want to go back here to one place we talked about, YouTube. If you click on YouTube, these are all the videos that I have done since I've started working with My Daily Choice, okay? And in here are just tremendous amounts of information. There's some great trainers that I've interviewed. There's here, right here, you see HempWorks product training. There was an African market update here. We had Sonia Line Arsenault on from Canada. Right here, we've had Chris Bailey on multiple times. We have Chris Bailey doing presentations. Here's a presentation with subtitles in Swahili. There's a back office training for new enrollees. I mean, there's just so much stuff here, guys, that you can use to build your teams and do it at your own during your own time frame. I mean, if you want to do this in the middle of the day, or you want to do it in the evening, you want to whatever you want to do it, it's always here. It's always available. And you can also go in from videos, go to playlists, and it breaks it down. And okay, here's all the information with French subtitles. Here's all the Mondays with Dale, Dale's guest appearances, Ukrainian subtitles, Swahili subtitles, and we're always adding to this. So there is so much value here, guys. And I don't say it's value because I'm the one that did it. The value is from all the people that I have interviewed and all the trainings that we have given you guys that are just going to make things easier for you. So please use this. All you have to do is go to dalefranklin.net and it'll take you right into this. And it's free. You can use it as much as you want. We hope you see the value in it. So that is that. Also, just a reminder that also Jody Levanway, she works with me, and she puts out every evening. She puts out a list of what's going on the following day, as far as meetings. So if there's a meeting from the corporate standpoint, maybe Josh Swagel is putting on another special call or a special training. Maybe it's one of the new people, new leaders we got talking about the Coin Zoom or something like that. You're always going to know what's going on. Whether you choose to take advantage of it, it's up to you, but you're going to know. And I think that's very valuable to you. So that's that. The next thing is just a little bit more about meetings. Guys, you're going to have this Monday's meeting, like I talked about. You're going to have meetings with Chris Bailey on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but that's just not it. I mean, if one of you wanted to have a grand opening, or several of you are friends and want to have a grand opening, invite all your friends together for one call, just let us know. We can set you up with whatever leader you feel comfortable with. I can do a presentation. Chris Bailey can, Chris Robinson can, Jermaine Johnson. We have such a group of great leaders that are more than willing to help you. All you have to do is let us know a few days in advance so we can schedule you in. So, when you're first getting started and you're worried about, coming across correct, well, just invite people and tell your prospects, hey, I'm brand new at this. I don't know everything I need to know. Let me turn you over to a mentor of mine that can help you understand what we're doing. And then just turn it over and let us do the work. So again, it's the only thing you have to be good at in this business to be very wealthy is being a good inviter. If you're a good inviter, everything else takes care of itself. So again, we're more willing to do that for you. Of course, I mentioned the Super Saturdays on one Saturday every month, usually the first Saturday of the month. And the last thing I just want to bring up really quickly is remember that we have the mastermind coming up in March. And to qualify for this, you either have to reach 25K affiliate and be buying 500, minimum of 500 BV worth of product each month, either buying it or selling it to your customers. Or if you can become a 25K and while doing that, get somebody to reach 10K, you're automatically going to qualify also. What happens if you qualify? You're going to get invited to the mastermind. It's going to be, if you're in Africa, you're going to get $1,000 towards your airfare. When you get there, your room's going to be taken care of. All your food's going to be taken care of. Everything's going to be there at the company's cost. And you're going to basically be able to rub shoulders with all the leaders. You're going to be able to sit there and listen to training from some of the best people we have. And to me, the most important thing is we get to sit around while we're eating and hear the stories, get the connections, make the friendships that you're going to have for the rest of your life that are going to help you build in this business. So just keep that in mind, how valuable that is. And if you can possibly reach those goals, try to reach them. We're here to help you do that. Okay, that's everything that I usually talk about at the very beginning. Today I didn't invite anybody. I want to spend some time on a video that you're going to watch. That is I think one of the best trainings you're ever going to have in this business. Okay. If some of you, I alluded to this, it's a Super Saturday. I told a little bit about it, about how it works. I did a full training on this last Tuesday evening for Chris Bailey's team. If you're on that and now you're here, you're going to hear it again. I apologize, but again, this is so valuable that I think you could, I know personally, I've watched this video probably 35, 40 times, and I think I gained something from it every single time. This is going to show you a way that you can build your team using the relationships you've already created and the relationships your friends have created. It's a little bit dated. This was made by Nadlin back in one of the previous companies that merged with My Daily Choice. So it talks about a little bit about a former company. You're going to hear the word Allurave. Don't let that bother you. This is all good training. And she's going to mention a little bit about and side mention about the comp plan for that company. Again, she only mentions it for a few seconds, but don't let it bother you. It's nothing to do with us. But the overall training is phenomenal. And so I want you to really listen to what you have. If you haven't got a paper and a pen, please grab one because you're going to want to take notes. But this is going to be recorded, and it's going to be in dalefranklin.net, so you can go in and watch it again as many times as you want. You see on the notes here on the side, the chat, if you go to the top, you're going to see that there's a link. It's called, it says www.dalefranklin.net/relationship mapping handout. If you can, save that to your computer, your phone, whatever, because that's going to print out the actual form that she's going to be using. So you'll be able to use it exactly like she's doing. So if at all, try to save that. We will be posting that in our group chats and things like that. So you're going to have multiple ways to reach out and grab it. But again, it's going to be valuable for you. You could do it without it, but the bottom line, it makes it a little easier for you because it really explains everything very well. So having said all that, I think I've told you everything I need to tell you. So now let's share the screen. And this is about 30 minutes long. I'll come on for 5 minutes after that to close this out. But I honestly believe you guys are going to believe this is one of the best trainings you've ever seen. So let me pull it down here. Here we go.
Today are the following 6 topics. We're going to go through building strategy. We're going to go through your approach, your presentation, your follow-up, your close, and how to train and mentor. We're going to move very quickly, but this is recorded, so if you need to watch it again, you're going to be able to do that. Let's start with building strategy. I'm going to teach you a building strategy that was recently taught to me by a multi-millionaire friend of mine who has managed to do this business incredibly effectively. Now, what I call effective building is when someone can do it more than one time and show successfully, as well as replicate that process with other people and sustain it for the long term. This gentleman reached the equivalent of what we would have as a blue diamond in a 30-day period of time, replicated that with 4 of his frontline people, and then continued to replicate through that or through the organization, setting records that have never been beat since and had never been accomplished before that time. This gentleman has a tremendous amount of respect in my book, but he's also a great mentor for me. Anybody who can be making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, over $400,000 a month in this kind of an industry, and do it successfully and have it be residual where they haven't worked for 5 years since they built that, they deserve some respect. As we sat, he sat and taught us all how he built his organizations and why it was that they were sustainable, why it was that once they were built, they stayed in place and continued to build, and why it was that with this strategy, you can overcome so many of the hurdles that many people find in this industry. And we are going to teach you exactly how to do that today. Once you have that picture in your mind and you understand how to do that, we're actually going to go through the exercise of doing it. And then we're going to move forward through these additional pieces and make sure that you know how to capitalize on really establishing a very strong Allure business. So let's start with building strategy. The way you're going to build and strategize is consider this to be you at the top of this circle. Now, what I'm going to put on here is I'm going to put a little A1 just for fun. Now, A1 is a designation that just reminds you we're talking about A players. Who in your mind is the single best person you can think of that you want to do this business with? They are entrepreneurs. They are driven. They are business owners. They are financially motivated. They are the kind of person who says, if I make a decision to do this, then get out of my way because that's exactly what I'm going to do. Who is that person for you? Now, you should be thinking of a name or two names, but think of the person that you can think of first. And I want you to write that name down on your own individual paper. You should have one. And it should look a lot like this form right here. You're going to write that name on it. Now, I'm going to do this exercise for you, and then you're going to do it yourself on your individual papers. So watch carefully. For me, that person is Gary, okay? So I'm going to write Gary's name down right here. And then I'm going to say, okay, who do Gary and I both know together? Who's someone we both know that could be good at this? Well, you know what? We both know Shane. So I'm going to put Shane's name down here. Who's someone else we both know? Well, we both know Tammy. So we're going to put Tammy right here. Who is someone else we both know? We both know Ryan. So I'm going to put Ryan right here. Who is someone? And then what I want you to do is once you have about 3 names down, you're going to do a little evaluation. Out of Shane, Tammy, and Ryan, which one of those people has the greatest social influence? Meaning, if these guys know each other, which one of them bears the greatest ability to sway the opinion of the social group around them? Well, in this group, I would actually say that Shane does. So I think Shane's in the right place. But what about here between Tammy and Ryan? Well, actually, Ryan has a little bit more social sway than Tammy. So I'm going to switch the order. And I'm going to now say Gary, Shane, Ryan, and Tammy. Hey, who's another person that we both know? Well, we actually both know Jillian. Now, what about Jillian? Ooh, actually, Jillian's pretty good. A matter of fact, Jillian's a very successful woman, and a lot of people hold her in high regard. I would say actually that Jillian is a little higher than Ryan up here. So now I'm going to move Jillian there. I'm going to move Ryan here, and I'm going to move Tammy to here. So now I've got Gary, Shane, Jillian, Ryan, Tammy. Now, this exercise can continue down as deep as you can go to the people that the two of you both know together. Now, this I like to call the Facebook principle. If you're sitting there and you can't think of somebody that you both know, open Facebook and look at the people that you both have as friends connected with you on Facebook, because that's what this is about. Who are you connected with? Now, what I want you to do is I want you to do the same thing, except for this is number 2. Who is another person you can think of that is a business owner? This is a person that is entrepreneurial driven. They are financially motivated. When they see opportunity, they grab for it with both hands and dive in with both feet. And you'd love to work with them because they are energetic and passionate and they love what they do. Okay, write that name down. For me, I'm going to go ahead and say for me that person is Chris. Chris is one of those kinds of people. Well, who is somebody that both Chris and I know? Well, Chris and I both know Nicholas. Okay, so I'm going to write down Nicholas. And Chris and I also both know Chloe. So I'm going to write down Chloe. And Chris and I also both know, who else do we both know? We both know Benjamin, actually. So let's write down Benjamin. Now, out of Nicholas, Chloe, and Benjamin, who has the greatest impact? Well, in this scenario, Ben does, and I would say then Chloe and then Nicholas. So let's say, for example, that was the way it worked out. Then you'd say, okay, who else do we both know? And you get the picture. You continue the exercise down and you fill in the next name and the next name until you can't think of any more. and it continues to go down in this motion. And then guess what? You got it. You're going to do it again for number 3. You're going to fill in that name. And then you're going to say, who do we both know? And you're going to fill in the name. And who else do we both know? Fill in the name. Who else do we both know? Fill in the name. Who else do we both know? Fill in the name. Now, in social influence, who has the greatest social influence? And so on. Now, I want you to do this 4 times. You are going to do this exercise 4 times. And I'm going to show you what makes this exercise so remarkably powerful is this. Number 1, you and the person that you're bringing in are now going to talk to people that you both know. And you've moved the social influencers to the top, so you're going to talk to them first. So what happens when both Gary and I go and we say, Shane, Gary and I want to talk to you about a business that we're doing? What happens when 2 of you approach someone that you both know, love, and respect? Now, what happens when you and Gary and Shane talk to Jillian? You say, Jillian, Gary and Shane and I have started a business. What happens when Jillian is in and you go to Ryan and you say, Ryan, we're getting the gang back together. Jillian, Shane, Gary, and I, and other people that you know, we're doing this business together. Do you know what happens is you create social influence on the people that are coming in here, because now they're becoming part of something that more and more people that they love and respect have already decided is a good, legitimate business model. You're adding credibility to the business model, and you're providing for people a sense of security that what they're about to engage in is a good thing. The other thing that you're doing is you're creating lines of social influence. You're creating a line of people that want to do business together. These are people who are friends and acquaintances. They know each other. When you're having a business meeting, they want to show up, not because they feel like they're sitting in a room full of strangers, but because they're sitting in a room full of friends. This gives you the opportunity to create lines where all of these people are socially connected. Here's the other thing that this strategy does. Now, this is incredibly important. And I will fully admit I've made this mistake in my own business and just have made this mistake up until very recently. But what do we do normally when we bring somebody into the business? We say, okay, you need to go get 4 people. Okay. So here you are, and you're going to go get 4 people. Go. Yeah, see, that's the problem. You can't go because how much do you know right now? You know almost nothing. You're sitting there thinking, okay, go get 4 people. Go get 4 people. What does that even mean to you when you're brand new? If you've been to a meeting, you sat through an opportunity meeting, you saw the opportunity for yourself and you enrolled, and you leave there and your instruction is go get 4 people, you have no idea what you're doing. Right? And even if you're ignorance on fire and you're just excited and you go out and start talking to people and you do go get your 4 people, you go get 1, 2, 3, 4, you're going to make some money, aren't you? And it's exciting. But how much money did those 4 people make? They didn't make anything because you were focused on getting your people. Now, what we do is we think, well, that's not my responsibility. They should be responsible for going and getting their 4. But why do you think it is that your business is moving so slowly? Why do you think that is that normally in network marketing, there's a lot of people that come in and never even get started in the business? It's because they come in and they're told, go get 4. And they feel like they need to know more information before they can start. They feel like they need to be trained before they can start. They feel like they need to have somebody teach them exactly what to say before they can start. But here is the beauty of this business model and this duplication style. You and me and Gary are going to call Shane together. And guess who's probably going to do the talking? You got it. I am. Why? Because I've been in the business a long time and I already know how to talk to people. And I can talk to Shane just as easily as Gary could because I know him. This is not a cold prospect. This is not someone who doesn't have respect for me. This is someone we already both know. And guess who's going to end up making the phone call to Jillian? You got it. I am, with Shane or with Gary and Shane sitting right next to me. And guess who's going to end up making the phone call to Ryan? I am, with Gary and Shane and Jillian on the line with me. Even if they're not talking, they're listening, because guess what happens now? I go ahead and I make these first 3 phone calls for Gary after he's watched me do this 3 times. What is he doing? He's learning how to do it himself. And guess what else? He has tremendous confidence because I didn't send him out there to let him screw up his first 7 contacts. I made his first 3 for him. I have already learned how to do this. I have already had success doing this. I can approach this with confidence. Never forget that 93% of communication is nonverbal. So we take our people out, and even if we give them a script, even if we teach them exactly what to say, 93% of that communication is nonverbal. So where's their confidence? If they don't know what they're doing and they feel that way, where is their confidence? It's certainly not going to come through in communication. But this building strategy allows us to change that. This building strategy allows us, this person that's already had success and already has confidence, to do the talking for these first 3. Now, this person has success, right? They have a team that's 3 deep for them. So guess what they get to do? They get to make the next phone call. And more importantly than that, they are going to do the same exact exercise, and they're going to start their next line. And then they're going to do it again until they have 4 lines, just like you did. All right. Now you can see how that would work, but let me now talk about how you're going to push this to a whole different level. And it is this. Pay attention, because this is important. Wealth and urgency are synonymous. Okay, wealth and urgency are synonymous. If you don't do this fast, if you don't build your business quickly, it's not going to build. And this is why. Let's say I go out there and I bring in Gary, and I'm feeling very good about myself. I've got the rah, I'm cheering. I took a snack break because I was so excited that I had success. Bam, got my 1 guy. I feel great. But how does Gary feel? He feels like he's brand new in a business that he doesn't know how to do, and he's not succeeding because nothing's happening. Okay, but what happens when I talk to Gary, and before Gary ever leaves the appointment, he and I have done this exercise together, and he and I have a map laid out of his 20 people that he not only knows, but knows well, that has relationships with these people. Here's what happens. Number 1, we now have a plan. When I did this map, I have an exact plan, and I'm going to go talk to people, and we all know each other, and we all have relationships. And I sit there and I look at 20 people on a piece of paper, and all of a sudden seeing is believing, and believing makes it possible for me to go achieve that. I have these people in place. I know these people. And guess what I didn't do? I didn't say, go make me a list of 20 people. I asked for 1 name at a time and then allowed association, which, by the way, you can leverage Facebook as a tool to get. Once everybody has their map laid out of 20 people, they have a plan, they have a vision, and they know how to go accomplish it, and they know they're never accomplishing it alone. Incredibly, incredibly important. Now, when it comes to speed, no longer do I tell you to go get your 4 and have you waiting to figure out how to go talk to somebody. Before you left my office, we have your map down. And guess what we can do? Gary, let's call Shane. Let's call Shane really quickly before you leave today. Let's call him. Now, true story, when we were taught this exercise on a Wednesday afternoon. On a Wednesday afternoon in my own home, we were taught this. The gentleman who was teaching brought a brand new person to the front of the room, and he said, let's do this exercise. We did the exercise with him. He immediately texted his A1 person and said, hey, can you come over here? I want to show you what we're learning right now. This person showed up. We had a conversation with that person, presented the business, and by the time the presentation was over, the 2 of them made a phone call to the next person down. They invited them to come over and talk with them for a minute. That person came over. They talked to the person about the business, and by the time they were halfway through the conversation, they had already contacted this person and said, hey, the 3 of us are here. Can you come on over? We want to show you what we're doing together. They brought this person over, and what ended up happening, I'm not joking, is we went with this brand new person. We went 4 generations deep, 2 wide over here, and 2 more deep on this leg in 90 minutes. Okay, not 90 days. We didn't bring 7 people in an organization in 90 days. We brought 7 people in the organization in 90 minutes. Now, the gentleman that taught us this said, if you get together and you do a power Saturday, for example, and you say, I'm going to sit here from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and I am going to drive the lines as far as I can drive them today, do you know what can happen? This gentleman went 6 wide and 13 deep in a day. Okay, 6 legs wide, 13 deep on each leg minimum in one day. How'd they do it? Hey, let's call that person. Hey, while we're talking on the phone, let's call that person. Hey, now come over here. Let's work together today and call these 3 people. All right. Now, in sales, there's certain tactics that we use, and one of them is fear of loss, right? Well, what happens when you show up and you're Gary and you see my chart and you realize I'm going to call Shane, Jillian, Ryan, and Tammy? Those are all people you know. And you know that I'm going to call them with or without you. A little bit of fear of loss, because you now know this is the place for you to be. Now, one more thing on this point really quickly that I want to make, and then I'm going to show you how we capitalize on this when it comes to volume, okay? When you're working with these people, something that's really important to keep in mind is that I can go very quickly with these people because of the relationships that I have, but I can also, I can go as deep as possible, and every single person, now Gary has a paycheck, Shane has a paycheck, Jillian has a paycheck, Ryan has a paycheck, because we are putting people down the line. Don't be so caught up in feeling like you need to capture everybody on your front level and enroll everybody yourself. In this compensation plan, you can maximize the entire compensation plan with 10 frontline people, 10 total. If you did this exercise with 4, what happens once you've been driving those lines deep? Go do it again. Go do a 5th line, then go do a 6th line, then go do a 7th line. But this much I can tell you. If you are doing this correctly, you will be so busy driving these first couple of lines, you're not going to have time to go do your 3rd line right away until these are established. Now, this is what's happened for me. We've now been doing this for 1 week. 1 week we've been doing this since last Thursday, okay? We have brought in that 1 week period of time 47 new people onto our team. No, actually, no, we added 5 last night. So we have brought in 52 new people in a 1 week period of time doing this methodology. I have talked to a minimum of 5 to 6 new people a day, and they're not my personals. I'm having conversations with my personals, and we're branching out and driving their lines deep. And now guess what happened? Yesterday, I was booked solid talking to people. And guess what happened? No big deal, because they called this person and this person. They called this person and this person. Those people did the calls, and we had 5 signups yesterday, and I only talked to 1 of those people. Because now these people are becoming competent and confident that they can present the information in a powerful way that resonates. Okay, so this is a building strategy that is on fire. I've never seen anything work this well. I understand why it works this well. I don't know why it took so long for the rest of us to catch on, but now that he has taught us how fast someone can build an organization and how strong it can be, because as you're driving depth in these legs, you're driving stability and creating paychecks for every person along the way, and then you go wide. It's a really, really awesome building strategy, but I want to show you what it means to you in terms of income. Now, you just saw we have like 20 squares, and all of you have your piece of paper. So you should see there's about 20 squares on your piece of paper. Now, when you do this exercise, which we'll give you time to do in a bit, you're going to notice that it is incredibly easy and quick for you to put down 20 names on a piece of paper. And you find those first one, and then you just think, who do we know together? Who do we both know? Boom, 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 boom. There's my next one. Who do we both know? Boom, 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 boom. I have done this exercise now with 40 plus people, 5 minutes tops, and we have a map of 20 names. And it started with 1 name every single time. And sometimes we did have to pull out our phones and pull up the Facebook app and look at the relationships, and that's fine. But this is the power of that. You have 20 people, okay? 20 people. What happens when you do that exact exercise with those 20 people? You have those 20 people now have 20. Do you know how big your team is? 400. No, those people are on a 100 PV auto ship. You have 40,000 in team volume. That's twice the amount that you need to be a Sapphire in this company. That's twice the amount you need to be driving a new Audi. That's twice the amount you need to be earning that $10,000 bonus at the Sapphire level and making the kind of income that has replaced my income, go full out, guts out income. Okay? But let's talk about what happens as we go through this. As you talk to your 20 people, not everybody is going to want to do the business. That's fine. Replace them with somebody who does. But when you replace them, I want to show you, this is really important. As you're talking to them, use these words. A B is a business owner, okay? An S is a salesperson, and a C is a customer. Every person that you come across fits into one of these categories. They either have an entrepreneurial mindset and they get the business and they want to do it, or they think I could sell that product, but they're not necessarily interested in building a team, or they're just a customer who wouldn't want the benefits of this product. So when I talk to them, I never cross anybody off my list. I acquire my business builders, and then I move forward from there and continue to find people the two of us know and drive, as you notice the arrow going deep. I drive deep this direction and find more business owners, but I maintain notes so that I know who I have in the system as customers and salespeople. Wealth and urgency are synonymous. If I go out there and I build 4 across in 1 week's time, or say a month, I go get 4 in a month, and I feel pretty good about that, right? I went and got 4 people in a month. You got a paycheck that those 4 people made nothing. If that's what you were focused on and that's what you did, you got a paycheck and your 4 people made nothing. Now, how long are you going to stay in a business where you made nothing? Now, the mindset might be, well, it's their job. They got to go get 4. You can maintain that mindset, and you will also maintain the current pace of your build and the current fallout of your distributor base. And you can stay at the industry averages. But if you want to raise your game, then don't just be thinking, I need to go get 4. Be thinking, I'm going to find 4. I'm going to drive lines deep in that 4, because people on my team are going to make money. Because this is going to be fun, guys. And to have fun requires 3 things. You got to be coachable, and you got to be learning new things. You got to be making money. And number 3, your team has to be making money. It is not fun when the people you bring into the business aren't making money. So this is about building in a team strategy that makes everybody money, drives lines, and gives people a reason to stay, gives people a reason to work, gives people a reason to get excited. And that is where your urgency comes in. That is where you start to move the lines very, very quickly. And when people see the numbers coming in around them quickly, they move quickly. And when that happens, your organization moves quickly. And all of a sudden, you have big paychecks emerging quickly. Wealth is synonymous with urgency. All right, now every single one of you received one of these forms. I want you to go through this exercise. I want you to put your name at the top. I already did that for you with the you, but you are going to put your top 4 people. You're going to think, who do I know? Who do the both of us know together? Fill it in. Rank it according to social influence. That is going to be important. Now, we're not going to stop the video here and give you time to do that, but you understand your exercise. And I'm sure that you can take your time as soon as you're done watching this, or you can push pause if you're watching this on your own, and at a later time as a repeat, and do that exercise. Okay. So building strategy, we all got that, right? Awesome. Okay. Approach. How do I approach people? If I'm going to have this and I'm going to need to make phone calls and talk to people, how do I do that? Well, there's a few approaches that you can use out there, but this one is my particular favorite. Okay. I just learned this building method from a multi-millionaire, which means you also just learned the building method of a multi-millionaire. So if you were talking to somebody, this is what you might say. You might say, I just spent the last several hours learning how multimillionaires make their money. I have a plan. I know exactly how to do it, and I'm about to do it, and I want to take you with me. When can we meet? Now, a few parts of that are important. Number 1, if you're talking to the right person, if you're talking to a business-minded, entrepreneurial, financially driven and motivated person, do they want to know how multimillionaires make their money? Yes, they do. if you're talking to that person and you say, when can we meet? Notice how I didn't say, can we meet? Notice how I didn't say, would you like to meet? I said, when can we meet? Because I am going to assume the sale. I am going to employ something called TNT. Take control and tell them what to do, okay? TNT, assume the sale. I just spent the last several hours learning how multimillionaires make their millions. Unbelievable. I have been enlightened. I have a plan. I know exactly what I'm doing, and I want you to come do it with me. When can we meet? Now, remember, what did I do? I just outlined for them. I told them where I'm going. I'm going to go make millions. I have a plan, and I know exactly what I'm doing. I told them why I'm talking to them. I want you to come do it with me. They know why I'm talking to them. And then what did I do? I made sure to assume the close. When can we meet? When can we meet? All right. Now, once I've done that, I can then set up an appointment for them. Now, one of a couple responses is going to come out, okay? They are either going to, number one, they're going to give you a date and time, or they're going to say, why make me wait? Let's talk now. I've had that one too. They're going to schedule an appointment with you. Done. Take it. Schedule that appointment, make that phone call, or go face-to-face, sit down and meet with them and have that meeting, okay? That's the first response you might get. The second response is, good for you. I'm happy for you. I'm really excited for you, but I'm not interested, or that's not for me, or I don't have time. Guess what? You now know. You now know you're not talking to the right person. This is not an entrepreneur. This is not a business-minded person. This is a person who is not in that frame of mind. But you know what the brilliant part about that is? That is no problem, because we're looking for three types of people, remember? We're looking for the business owners, but we're also looking for salespeople, and we're also looking for customers. Okay? So here's what you didn't do. You didn't tell them anything about your product yet. Okay? You just told them that you're going to go do something. So what you open the door for yourself to do is, in a couple weeks later, you can call them back and say, hey, remember how I was doing that, how I told you I was going to do that business? I've found the product that I'm working with, and you have to try it. Now, guess what they already know? They already know you're doing business for yourself. They know that you're selling a product, not offering them to share a product. You're not offering to give them a product, because you told them you're building a business, and now you just said, I found the product that I'm going to do it with. You have to try it. Now you're offering the opportunity to try your product, and they can become a customer, and you didn't burn any bridges because you didn't get into too much information that they weren't interested in the time, and ruin your chance to talk to them about being a customer. So you've just established yourself as the opportunity to
Met wie môre Bianca het beklei. Volgende oomblik verwag mense meer die sing goed gaan af.
Those are your
Maar
responses. So if they give
weet
you a date
kan jy
and
sê, hoi, kan ek vandag na jou
you want to give them the presentation. If they're good for you, but that's not for me, they just identified themselves as a customer, treat them that way. Let them know, hey, no big deal. Absolutely no big deal. I'm going to go forward. I'm going to do this. I'm excited about it. And I'm sure I'll talk to you soon. And a couple weeks later, call them up and tell them, hey, you remember that business that I was starting? I just found the product I'm going to do this with, and you've got to try it. And now you have a customer approach. So those are the two things, and that is how you do the approach. All right. So let's go ahead and crack off the approach.
Okay.
hoor wat ek vanmôre sê. Sê wat maar wil,
You just mute everybody.
Trudy op die lyn sit. Hoef dit dan nie Trudy op die lyn.
Okay, so guys, I get excited every time I watch this video, because everything she says makes sense, okay? And it works, and it creates excitement, it creates people's getting paid, and it creates that camaraderie, that tightness that I'm always talking about as far as having a family of people working together. This video is going to be available on dalefranklin.net. We're going to have the form that she was talking about. We've got that recreated, so you can watch. You can have that.
Te wees, né? Of jouself te.
And let me just see a couple of my notes here. A couple of things she said. First of all, if this worked well for you, if you're excited about this, put a 1 in the chat. I want to see how many of you really feel the way I feel about this business. about this presentation. So put a 1 in if you like what you saw. Okay, good. I'm glad that we have people to see what I saw. This to me personally, guys, you know, if you've been on my calls very long, you know I'm just not that kind of guy that blows smoke. I'm not a big hype guy, but to me, this is the most valuable tool that I have ever seen in network marketing, bar none. If you use what she's saying to use, it's almost guaranteed, because you're building the way you should build. You're building with friends, and you're building so everybody gets paid. So one of the things she mentioned, she was talking about the fact of the company she was with, that you had to build 10 wide. You know, you think about our company. Our company, even though she's telling us to build 4 lines, and I still would recommend doing the 4 lines, we only have to have 3. You only have to actually have 3 people on your team to reach the highest rank in our company. Okay. And the beauty of this is, if you do what she's saying to do, okay, you build 4 teams, so you have 1 kicker team in case you ever need that 1 extra one in case something happens. You'll always have your 3 teams. You'll always be able to continue to build, and you will be able to spend the rest of your life focusing on those 4 teams, making sure that everybody in those 4 teams succeeds. Now, think about this when you explain this to your people, that, okay, I'm building 4 teams, and you're one of those teams that I'm building. And once I have my 4 teams built, I am going to spend the rest of my career, the rest of my life in this business, making you guys wealthy. Because if I make you wealthy, I will become wealthy. The beautiful thing about network marketing is it's about the ones that make the most money are the ones that help most other people make money. And this is designed to do exactly that. So again, I hope that part gets you excited. The other thing I want to point out is, you know, we bring, you know, if you've been in network marketing long enough, you bring a lot of people in, and some come, some go. We all know that. You lose a lot of people. Well, the reason you lose a lot of people is because they're strangers working with strangers. Okay. But when you're working with people, you know, and you have a bad day, are you going to quit? You're not going to quit on your friends. You might call your friends up and say, hey, I just had a miserable day. Come on over, let's have a beer and talk about it. You've got to have had a better day than I did. Bring me up, re-energize me. You know, go in a meeting with several of those people in that team that are all your friends, and you know, go out and have dinner and chat, whatever you need to do. But you see what I'm saying? You have that power source. You have that energy from friends. So those people that quit, and you know, they quit just, you know, a couple months too soon, and all of a sudden their team just explodes and they quit. You know, like the old story about the guy that signed General Zweigel and then got bored and went on to something else. If he was still in the company, he'd be making check match of over $3 million a year just off Jenna and her team. Think of that, all because he was working with maybe a bunch of people that he didn't know that well, and he didn't have the support, and so he quit. If he had stayed in, think what he'd be making. And that's what's going to happen when you have people you're working with, their friends. They're not going to leave just because they had a bad day or two, because you're their friends. Okay. So I hope I didn't beat a dead horse here just talking about that so much. But the bottom line is, I think this is the most powerful tool that you can have. And we're going to have in dalefranklin.net, there's going to be this video. You can take this video and use it over and over again. There's going to be the form. You're going to be able to download the form, print it out. You can invite people over and do this type of thing and let them have a presentation with one of us leaders doing a presentation for you. And then when it comes time for training, you can show them the video that Madeline just did, and you can hand them the forms and fill out everything right there. I mean, we've made this so everything is perfectly easy for you to do. So I hope you guys take advantage of this. See the value in it, and are as excited as I am about this, because this is how I'm going to be keying all my growth going forward, because I love the way it benefits everybody. So having said all that, I guess, let's see if there's anything else I wanted to go over here real quick. Yeah, I wrote here in capital letters, the rest of my career helping four of my teams just build. I think that is so cool, so cool. So having said all that, thank you guys for coming on. Thank you for giving me an hour of your time. Again, we'll be doing this again next week. I've given you all the contact information you could possibly need to reach out to me if you need any help. I'm here to help you. I do this, even though I own another business. I have great people running that business, so I'm able to do this almost all the time. In fact, the only time I work in the other business is on Fridays. So you have me 6 days a week. So all you have to do is reach out to me and I'll be glad to work with you. So having said all that, guys, have a great week. Know that I love you all, and nothing would make my heart more joyous than to know that a little something I did helped you succeed. So having said all that, have a great week. This call is now finished. Bye-bye.